Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. Paulie the Magic Man Malignaggi said he beat the brakes off of Conor McGregor. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the notification gang, hit the bell icon. Now, shout out to the super chats, the channel donations, and the Patreon patrons. We definitely working. 2017 is pretty lit. And I'm doing a follow-up video. I was on Paulie Malignaggi's Twitter the other day, and he has a lot that he's been talking about. Obviously, people want to know about the Conor McGregor sparring. I've done several videos. I want to do an updated video. He also did an interview, and I did a video about that. He was kind of talking about Conor McGregor being arrogant and not willing to learn, and he's cheap in terms of he's not really budgeting for his sparring partners and looking out for them and taking care of them. Check that video out. But right now I'm on the verified page of Paulie the Magic Man Malignaggi, and somebody said to him that wasn't even him who posted that, the picture of him being knocked down. Could have been anyone. I don't get why you assume he did on purpose. Only his personal photographers are allowed in the gym. Don't just invent your own reality because it's how you wish it to be. Then someone else says, looks like he got caught talking shit and got put on his back. Paulie responds, nah, I pretty much talked shit that whole sparring session while I beat the brakes off of him. The push down was from his frustration from it. Someone says, you could tell how Cortez is approaching Conor did something wrong. Paulie Malignaggi said it was a push. I believe him. Very good observation there. Good way to educate the Conor groupies and casuals. Cortez's reaction is a big hint because they have a referee Joe Cortez, who's ref big fights like Floyd Mayweather versus Victor Ortiz, things like that. Then a fan said, let's please be real here. You started talking about how Conor is overrated in the media first. You started it. Now you play victim because of 2 picks. And Paulie says, the picks because the media to rush me for answers. Unlike you, I'm not irrelevant nobody. I'm not a irrelevant nobody. Pics of me cause a media rush and I can't avoid it. You get it? Someone said, did you actually think they were going to use you for your expertise in boxing? They wanted to make you pay for all the shit you were talking. Maybe, but I didn't pay for anything. A video exists. UFC place has 24-hour cameras. When the fight is over, will they release the unedited film? Paulie still wants vindication. Someone said, did you take your own photographer to camp? If so, please release photos, videos showing what happened. This is getting out of hand. He says, you're kidding with that question, right? Like, no way you are this stupid. Conor's people and only Conor's people allowed in gym, his photographers only. He's made that very clear. They all planned that shit before you even knew you were going to be his sparring partner. Hate to say it, but it's clear when I look back at my time there was an agenda from the start. Too many clues. And I told you the big indication for me before, and I'm not just acting like Nostradamus, Ego-Stradamus, like I knew this, but I knew it was weird, and the red flag was Conor McGregor when they asked him about Paulie after one of the press tour, the week of the press tour for Mayweather McGregor. They asked about Paulie, and Conor's response sounded retaliatory. Like, it sounded like he was plotting. He was like, oh yeah, we're gonna lace him up and we're gonna see all that stuff he was talking, we're gonna see. And like, it just sounded like he wanted some get back, to be honest. Someone said, Paulie, hope you didn't sign a non-disclosure agreement, hashtag weasel. I did, but I didn't get paid anyway. Now go back and be a good little groupie and tweet about your Conor fantasies and stories. Yeah, I'll be glad when this fight's over, man, because there's a lot of casuals. They're bringing out all the casuals, like Mayweather, Pacquiao on steroids, because at least if you're a radical Pacquiao fan, you're still probably a fan of boxing. Not all of them, but like some of these people who are coming over really have no respect or knowledge on boxing, and they're coming over from the MMA side. And there's nothing wrong with MMA, but I'm just saying you got to respect the sport. Conor's coming to boxing. This is not an MMA match, and a lot of them don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and they're just putting crazy stuff. Oh, 49-1, just this cliche shit. Not breaking fights down. Like, if you think Conor will win, fine, but just putting 49-1, that shit doesn't mean anything. Nobody can tell the truth. Tell the truth. I told you it wasn't going to be a good year for you. People aren't trying to hear that. We're trying to hear a breakdown. Why will Conor win? What have you seen in his skill set that translates to boxing? Boxing only rules. Not like, oh, if he does a fucking hammer fist or puts him in a rear naked choke, or if this was a bar fight. Under sanctioned boxing rules, why are you picking Conor? Someone else said, yes, there's a limit though. You shouldn't be trying to KO someone in a sparring session, not the point, nor is it respectful. He said that kind of sparring is normal for boxers on a high level. I boxed many years, so it's normal. But to put a weird spin on things is unethical. Good stuff, man. Go put money you made from them on Mayweather and focus on commentating the show. You deserve the raise. And he says, I didn't get paid. I'm not worried about it though. I paid him with the ass beating he received from me on Tuesday. So he's adamant that he this is what happened to Conor, and he's saying he was bringing it to Conor. He said there's no video because the UFC facility won't release it. There's a 24/7 surveillance camera in that gym. Only Conor's photographers allowed in that gym. Honestly, I felt it would, but let me see what they said. That's their call. It's their training camp. It's up to them to post what they feel they want to or should. Honestly, I felt he would put pictures, but just be respectful about it. I didn't anticipate things like push downs insinuated as knockdowns, really. He says, I get them trying to hype up the fight more, but by doing that, it was a complete disrespect to someone who was trying to help. Not a good look. Paulie says, yeah, but this coming week, I'll actually start to discuss a bit of what happened Tuesday. He whimpers like a girl when he gets ripped to the body. LOL. So a little bit of strategy right there. Obviously, Floyd Mayweather does that jab to the solar plex, to the pit of the stomach. Take some air, pop, pop, take some air. If I'm Floyd, I would be paying attention to that. If Paulie's saying that, he's saying he's squeamish, or he whimpers like a girl. That actually reminds me of Mike Tyson, one of my favorite fighters of all time. And they were doing a post-fight interview with Tyson, and this reminded me because of what he said. And plus, Paulie and Tyson are both from Brooklyn, but they were interviewing Tyson after his knockout, and they're like, "Oh, what was he making any noise? What did he say in there?" And he was like, "Yeah, he was in there." And Mike Tyson was like, "Yeah, he was in there. He was crying." And the host was like, "What do you mean he was crying?" He was like, "Yeah, he was crying. He was making feminine women gestures like." And he's like, I don't know, but he was in there. He was in there crying. Oh my gosh, you guys got to find that interview. Hilarious. Then someone said, how is he used to getting kicked? How is he used to getting kicked to the body? Who has kicked Conor's body? LOL. Diaz said the same thing as Paulie, so there's truth to it. And he said, that's funny. Nate said the same thing. I was under the impression that maybe it was because in MMA they don't throw to the body much. Then a fan said, man, you've taken such a 180 from praising him, which was a cringe, to this. Almost like this is a tactic being used by you as his camp. Paulie says, truthfully, I was trying hard to not make him look bad, but if you listen to me before, the praise is hollow. There wasn't much substance to that praise. So he was saying he was just being a good teammate, you know what I mean, a good sport. No, you did take a 180, and I'm a fan. You went from saying it was competitive sparring to saying you whooped him. Paulie's response, no, genius. I was talking about the first sparring, and now I'm talking about the second. You spar more than once in a training camp. Someone says, I wouldn't go down to that level. You said you wouldn't speak about it. Boy, I want to hear it. Are you not just as bad then, though? And he said, I won't speak tactics of his. That I wouldn't do. I still have some ethics. I'm not Conor, but definitely will give the story straight about stuff. Should have just sparred again, whooped him, as you would say, then spoke to him man to man, not this trash. He said, I did that after Tuesday's work. I suppose the ass whipping didn't suit him, so he posted pics again, by Thursday while skipping sparring that day. Wow, he's spilling the beans on what's happening. He gave you some work though. Let's speak the truth between us here. Did he not? From the looks, the face though, that face though. And he said, I wouldn't say that. A guy who's been retired 4 months and just got back in the gym to spar with him was kicking his ass by the second sparring session. LOL. So Paulie's adamant that he was the one in there feeding him shots. And he said, ethics, you talk about what happens in sparring, stays in sparring, then give about 50 interviews talking about it. And he said, yeah, he posts pictures causing the media rush to come to me. If he wanted it so secretive, he should keep it secretive himself. Logical step, right? Which is a solid point. You know what I'm saying? If you can't set somebody up. Like, if what Paulie is saying is true, and I told you guys, for me, I kind of believe him. I mean, I do believe him with the knockdown, because again, you don't have to release the whole tape, but show the knockdown. Make a GIF, make a little 10-second clip. If you really knock them down, drop that. You know what I mean? Just that, 10 seconds. That has that give away the game plan. You know what I'm saying? If you see a clip of someone getting knocked down, flush shot, bow, and he went down, how would that give away his strategy or anything like that? It's just a knockdown. And at the end of the day, Floyd Mayweather and Paulie aren't the same fighter anyway. You know what I'm saying? So showing just the knockdown, and I edit videos all the time. You guys follow my channel, you know this. I edit videos all the time. It would be a piece of cake for you to upload a 10-15 second and export it and all that. And if he has photographers that work on his website, the Mac Life and stuff, that would be a really easy, that would be one of the easiest edits they've probably had to do. And you know what I mean? I doubt, like Paulie's saying, he's saying they have 24-hour surveillance, so they could have easily ran it back, but they're choosing not to release that. So to me, it sounds fishy. It sounds like they put that out to make people talk, and then it blew up in their face because Paulie ended up talking and he ended up leaving the camp. And again, I wasn't there, so I don't know 100% with 100% certainty what happened, but it's just like a judge. A judge is, she has like a plaintiff and a defendant or whatever, and she hears both sides, and you have to, as a judge, you have to listen to both sides and hear what people are saying, and then make the interpretation on, was this money a gift, or was this supposed to be paid back? You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is with this. So again, I wasn't there, just like a judge wasn't there when people made a bet, Judge Judy or whatever, when someone made a bet or owed the other person money, but they listened to both stories. And from the McGregor side, I haven't really heard much, and I think it would be really easy to rectify this. Paulie keeps saying put the sparring up. You can do that. You could put a condensed version, but show us something. You know what I mean? And this, to me, until otherwise proven, the knockdown is as real as Manti Te'o's girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the social media age. You know what I mean? If you, like, I always hear about, like, let's say like a rapper got his chain taken or stolen, or got in a fight and got stolen. Usually you'll see a video of it, like XX Tentacion or whatever his name is, how he got punched on stage, or all those concert goers. People had multiple angles of him getting punched, the dude running up and duffing him. You know what I mean? And that's just kind of what it is. Like, it's with all the technology and information at our fingertips, I'd be hard pressed to believe that none of the photographers, because I know photographers, photographers that work for Showtime and others, Top Rank, right? I know them personally. And this is the thing, when they're doing, I don't know the terms because I'm not like a photographer, but when they're doing their photography stuff, there's rapid fire shots, like the fast shutter, like bap, 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 you know what I mean? Like a photo burst. And you just showed a picture of Paulie on the ground, but as your job as a photographer, you have to get for action shots, like a thing like a boxing match. Usually they pop, 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 and do the photo burst and snap a bunch of pictures, and then they take the cleanest ones, the cleanest frames and stuff like that. Right? So it's just this one picture that's the only thing that's out. So even if it's not on video, the photographer and there's multiple, you can look around the ring and see multiple photographers. Nobody got more than one shot where Paulie's clean on the ground. You know what I mean? Because I know when I'm filming, when I go to the fights to cover fights, and let's say somebody gets in the other person's face at the weigh-in, like let's say Gerald Washington and Gerald Big Baby Miller, I start zooming in and I'm trying to get the best angle and zoom in and get up close and see everything, you know what I mean? Because you want to get the best possible shot. And it's no different as a photographer. You mean to tell me there's only one picture of Paulie being knocked down? You know what I mean? It doesn't sound realistic. So to me, I'm kind of riding with what Paulie's saying until otherwise proven, because it would be an easy thing to prove. Like I said, between video, between the surveillance camera he's talking about, between multiple photographers, there's only one shot of him just looking like he got stretched, and that's it. You know what I mean? No photo burst, nothing. Come on, man. Someone said, did you forget you already done an interview saying it was back and forth intense? 11 and 12 were very tough for you. Only got in the groove in round 6. He said, that was me trying my best to make him seem like he's making progress, buddy. I can come out and be open now. Good try, though. Funny how before you were saying after the second sparring, Conor gave you 12 hard rounds, and now you're saying you kicked his ass. LOL, dude. Hashtag chump. He said, that's me trying to do the ethical thing and play him up while I'm there. Common sense will help you in life. Please try and find some. So, someone says, in a real fight, Conor would fuck you up, son. Let it go. He said, what's a real fight? Because where I grew up, in a real fight, it meant anything including splitting you with a baseball bat. Keep Twitter thugging it. LOL. I like Paulie's demeanor because he'll troll you back. That's how I am. That's just like Troy King, and you know what I mean? There's certain people in the game that they'll ether you back. You know what I mean? It shit ain't what you think it is. It's called promotion, Paul. That's why McGregor is at where he's at. Most other fighters are unhappy being underpaid and poorly promoted. He said, I agree, except you don't do it on the back of those trying to help you. Wasn't called for. He's great at marketing himself, but ethics count. And agree again. I'm not just saying I agree with everything, but I tell you guys what I really feel. You know what I mean? And I do agree. I agree in the sense of if you hire someone into sparring, like you're putting them in a hotel, you're supposed to be paying them, and you're doing all this just to set them up. That's kind of petty to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand if you're trash talking Eddie Alvarez because you got to fight him and you don't have no allegiance to him, his camp or anything. You know what I mean? So that's just how it is to me. That's real petty that this is the biggest fight and probably the biggest challenge because it's not your immediate sport and you're coming to boxing. You're a fighter, yes, but you're coming over to a fight with, like you said, limited rules, and you got someone who you could be soaking up game from, like Paulie Malignaggi, and you're like kind of blackballing him and trying to make him look bad, and he's really trying to help you, it sounds like. Someone said, Paul, you're a savage, logical and wise. Do you really think Conor set out to make you look stupid, and what's his realistic chance? He said, when I look back at the experience as a whole, not just sparring, but as a whole, yes, there was definitely an agenda beyond a shadow of a doubt. And I told you guys, that was very easy. And this is what you guys see in the title. Paulie Malignaggi, after all the bullshit that's happened to you, do you regret agreeing to help Conor train? And he says, absolutely. And again, it's like I said, I genuinely believe what Paulie is saying here, and I've already said in several videos why I feel like that. It sounds like he was trying to be a stand-up person. He wanted to be part of a historic fight. You know what I mean? And you notice he didn't really say anything bad about Conor. Okay, we're talking about a guy who called Conor McGregor out in December or whenever he was getting his boxing license. And when he got into camp, it was all business. You know what I mean? You got to respect that about Paulie. It was all business. I didn't really hear him say anything bad. He was like, yeah, he definitely got... Conor McGregor, he definitely got a game plan. And he was... You know what I mean? Hyping it, he was hyping it up and saying everything good. And it wasn't until afterwards that when Conor started, him and his team or whatever, the Mac Life or whoever, started leaking the photos, then that's when he started to switch up and start going in and start like trying to roast Conor McGregor and say I was beating his ass and I was just protecting him and You know what I mean? Trying to be a team player, but now the gloves are off. And to me, that sound like, if you look at the stories and you have to be a judge, that sounds more logical than a few photos, because this is the same thing Chris Van Heerdeen was complaining about. I keep telling you guys, same exact thing. Chris Van Heerdeen, the South African fighter that Errol Spence stopped, that sparred Conor McGregor at Wildcard, right? He was pissed because he said he wasn't in the greatest shape. He didn't want the sparring to be recorded, and it was recorded anyway. And they doctored it up, and they made like a highlight reel of the good shit that Conor McGregor was doing to make it look like he was dogging Chris Van Heerdeen, who's a professional boxer. So that builds up Conor's street cred or whatever, but it makes Chris Van Heerdeen, an actual boxer, look like dog shit. And this is a guy, I mean, that's his livelihood. He already lost to Errol Spence Jr., so he's probably trying to get fights. Who wants to be like, oh, I'm the guy that Conor McGregor was beating my ass? So Van Heerdeen, what he did, he actually retaliated by, luckily he had the full version for somehow, and he released the whole thing, and that's what had people go to YouTube and type in Conor McGregor, Chris Van Heerdeen, and then you could see the whole thing. And when you watch the whole thing versus the one that they released, the McGregor team, it's a completely different fight. It's way more competitive, way more even. So, I mean, I understand where Paulie's coming from, and I really feel like, given the circumstances that I've seen, like I said, I'll be the first. Conor McGregor, Team McGregor, you'll do fucking nothing. The Mac life, prove me wrong. All you have to do is just release, I'm not saying release 12 rounds, just release him getting knocked down in a clear format that doesn't look like some CGI or some shit, and I'll make a video. I'll make a video and say, damn, okay, Conor caught him clean and knocked him down. But until then, it just, nothing adds up. And like I said, all of the photos that Conor's posting make him look cool, hands behind his back, like, yeah, I'm Conor. You know what I'm saying? And just knowing people, I've interviewed Paulie a couple of times, and just from his demeanor, he doesn't really seem like he's retired. Like, he doesn't really seem like somebody who has to, he makes money, you know what I'm saying? He has a well-paying, I'm sure he gets paid cool for working at Showtime, you know what I mean? So I don't really see why he would sign up for this and just be out here lying. Like, I don't know, it doesn't, if anybody's lying, it sounds like Conor's side, because Conor's the showman, and Conor, you know what I mean, wants to make himself look cool. And even stuff like, he said he whimpered like a little girl with the body shot. Nate Diaz said the same thing. Nate Diaz said, I heard him like when he got hit to the body. So we're gonna see. I mean, to be honest, this fight is kind of exhausting with all the press tour and stuff, and it's really the fans, because it's bringing out some of the worst fans and people who aren't really fans of boxing. And that's cool if you're not a diehard fan of boxing, but if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, like, fall back. And that's not what's happening. It's like the motor mouths, or the people that know the least amount about boxing, they never talk about, they're not talking about Lomachenko fights or Rigondeaux fights or Warren Kovalev 2. All of a sudden, they just appear for this fucking fight. So I know you're not part of real boxing talk. You know what I'm saying? You're just here for the moment. So I'll be kind of glad when this shit is over, to be honest, because I just want to get back to regular boxing. You know what I mean? Canelo, Golovkin, and regular boxing fans. Like, if you fuck with boxing, you fuck with boxing, not like these sometimesy fans that think they know what they're talking about, and they really only watch MMA. That's my thoughts. I had to break it down. That's the latest from Paulie Malignaggi. Shout out to Brooklyn. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.